Welcome, baseball family, to tonight's live episode. We are super excited to be here, and a couple of disclaimers before we get into it. First things first, I'm doing a home renovation project, so my home is a war zone right now, and it has forced us to test the limits of my technical capabilities, and I'm moving around, and I'm using gear I've never used before. It's super fun and super exciting, so we're glad that you're here with us. I'm Brig. This is the Brad man. Let's see. He's on that side. Hello, Brad.
Here.
How are you?
I'm hanging in there, Brig. I think I'll make it through. I think I'll make it 6 1/3 today. We'll see.
Brad's feeling a little under the weather, but he's going to decide to take the hill and be here with us, and that's super awesome. So, a couple things before we get started on this week's current events. Don't forget, you can subscribe to the Big Show. We publish it every Tuesday. Every Tuesday morning. You can get it wherever you podcast. And that's where we spend the most time. We spend the most. We put the most into giveaways and discount codes and content and different tidbits and opinions and all that stuff. That's where you get the heaviest amount of us. If you're digging what we do, which brings me to my next point. If you are digging what we do, then there's a way you can support the show. You can jump on Patreon. We have a Patreon now. It's been live for a month or so. And so if you dig what we're doing, you want to support us, it's the cost at the lowest cost is about as the equivalent of one of my bougie coffees that you can go and get that Brad likes to tease me about. So that is what you have to look forward to. Perks, swag that we give away on the Patreon at each tier, $5, $10, $15 a month. That's how you can support the show. Keep us doing what we're doing, which would be great. But also, we have some ideas that we're really excited to jump into. We need your support, and we'd love your support in that way as well, if you can. So, all right, Brad, without further ado, let's jump into some current events.
Okay.
There's a couple of things that have happened that are, I don't know if they're astonishing. They're kind of astonishing. The first things first, Angels fired Joe Maddon. He is out. Am I the only one that wants to call him Mad Dog Maddon, by the way? Is it just me?
I do now, actually. Yeah.
I think that just makes a lot of sense.
It makes a whole lot of sense. I would agree.
It just hit me. Anyway, they lost 14 in a row now. As of today, it was 11 in a row when they decided to fire him. Mm-hmm. And I think it was the Reds were the only ones that gave up 11 in a row ever this season up to that point.
Yeah, and that's the thing that I think is crazy is everybody's harping on the Reds for being so bad and having a terrible start to the season. They never lost more than 11 in a row, and that was only one time.
Yep.
Like that's how bad 14 in a row is. Like,
it's incredibly bad.
That's crazy to me.
So Brad's question to everyone is, are the Angels broken? And I think that's a legitimate question. It's a great question. Brad, do you think they're legitimately broken?
They might be. I think there's got to be a high level of distrust in that clubhouse to some degree, right? And
something is definitely going wrong.
Yeah, and the problem with professional sports is that the only guy they can get rid of is the manager. Like maybe Maddon wasn't the problem, but maybe there's a problem somewhere. But Brig, we did see earlier this year. Do you remember the whole Mike Trout thing when Maddon intentionally walked a batter to bring in a run? I wonder if that was the beginning of the end for Maddon there.
Interesting. Because, he shook that off. He was not a fan of that decision.
Yeah. So I wonder if things kind of went downhill after that. But the problem is like you give up on a manager and you start losing and it starts to snowball. And like the Angels are in legitimate trouble right now.
They are.
Legitimate
They are
trouble.
in legitimate trouble. And Mike Trout is now out on a groin injury, and I don't want to disparage him as a competitor in any way, but it is sneakily suspicious. It is a relatively convenient timeline, and that's what I asserted or insinuated rather last time he had an injury a couple weeks ago. I think there's a stronger case to be made that he's taken a powder this time.
He might be. He very well might be. It might just be one of those things where he's not willing to put his body on the line for this team.
Yep.
Because he's only got so much of his prime left, and
exactly.
But the problem is,
can you
can't
blame
trade
him?
that contract though?
Right.
You can't trade his contract.
Nope. So that's what I'm saying.
So,
I don't know. It would be hard to blame the guy for doing it, other than love of the game, competitive spirit,
right,
etc.
Yeah, and that's
kind of
the
teammates.
big thing is you don't get to be at that level without being ultra competitive. But
yep.
I don't know. Sometimes there's a lack of fire from Mike Trout that I don't want to say I question it, but a lot of people have a lot of questions about Mike Trout, right?
I question it. I'll come on the record and say I wonder.
Okay.
Yeah.
But one of the crazy things to me is that this is still not the longest losing streak in Major League Baseball history. The Mariners actually, I found tonight on a Facebook post that they lost 19. I think it was 19 in a row in 2018 or 19.
Whoa.
So same thing though. If it was 2019, I think it was, that team got out to a really hot start, crashed and burned, never recovered, and finished way below 500. So we could be seeing the same thing with the Angels. But the worst losing streak in Major League Baseball history came from the Phillies in 1961. They lost 23 games in a row. And Brig, with the schedule that the Angels have coming up, they could pass it.
It's possible.
They could pass it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's entirely possible. Speaking of the Phils, let's move on to the Phillies because they canned Joe Girardi. We have another skipper who's gone down without his ship in this season so far, and I think that Phillies fans have been calling for his head for a long time.
They have, but I know Jason
new.
has been. Jason and Tori had a special episode about it on the Philly Baseball Together podcast.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying, and they're certainly not alone. So they fired Joe Girardi.
Mm-hmm.
And then they have won 6 in a row suddenly.
Look at that. Would you look at that?
Interesting.
Yeah, they won today even. They won today. They beat last night they beat the Brewers 10-0, and today they won 8-3 over the Brewers. Brewers are a good team. And
that's a good ball club.
I've been telling you, these Phillies, they're going to figure it out. Like, they could go on a run, and I don't think there's any chance of them catching the Mets. The Mets are too good. We've established the Mets are not going to Met the bed. If they're going to, now would be the time, but it's not happening. But this is the thing.
Thank you for saying that, though.
I'll give you
that makes me feel awesome.
The Phillies are going to make the wild card, though.
Yeah, that's a good chance.
There's tons of season left. They have lots of time to win, and they clearly have. They obviously gave up on Girardi a long time ago, and I think they're going to get it together. They're going to make the playoffs this year. This will be the year.
Cool. That's awesome. So, I mean, we all think this was a little overdue in Philadelphia, so I don't really think we need to beat that horse too much harder. We do have a family celebration, though, baseball family.
We do.
We are super excited to announce the good fortune and the well-deserved fortune of our friend Denise Cantu. She is the host of the Northside Chicago Baseball Together podcast, and she was chosen as this week's Marquee Sports Network Cubs fan of the week. So we want to just clap it off for Denise. I mean, this is a really cool opportunity for her, and she shared a little bit with us about the application process and the nomination process and all of that, and it's really a cool story. She deserves to be the Cubs player or fan of the year almost every year, if not every year. This fan of the week thing should be like a Mortal Kombat style Survivor episode or something over the course
KBO.
Of like the KBO.
And
it should be like, well, this is my story, and then they should swap stories, and the rest of the fans should be able to vote. No, the players and the coaching staff and the clubbies, they are the ones that should get to vote on who moves up, and it should be baseball one-upmanship on stories as fans.
I love that, because then what do? Do you lead off with your best story? Or do you sheathe it in case you make it 5-6 rounds?
Good question. We shall see, sir. I do not know. But somebody's
like a giveaway
listening.
to me.
Somebody's going to do it. We will one day. But anyway, you can catch her feature on the Marquee Network Cubs Live. That'll be this Friday, June 10th, from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. Don't forget it. The Illinois is in Central Standard Time. I have to remind myself of time zones often. It's very hard for me and Brad. But anyway, you can also catch her show here as part of the Baseball Together Network, wherever you podcast. She comes out every month, and it's awesome. She is going to be poached and picked up by somebody somewhere to do this full time very soon. I'm sure seriously.
Yeah, I told her after her third episode, I was like, don't forget the little people when you get picked up, just so you know.
Yeah.
But we've been putting those on YouTube lately too, so you can catch those on the YouTube channel if that is your preferred way to podcast.
There you go. Okay, let's get into the games of the week. Let's start with Friday, Apple TV. I'm going to read my notes here. Pardon me. Friday, the Rays will be at the Twins. The Twins are right now beating the crap out of the Yankees, and it's very disconcerting, and I don't like it. But you can watch the Rays beat the crap out of the Twins, I hope. Just kidding. That will be at 8 p.m. Eastern Friday on Apple TV. The Rays currently in second place at AL East behind the Yankees, and that is going to be a tough race for anybody to catch the Yankees at this point, seriously. Even if the Yankees do keep losing to the Twins.
Yeah.
So the Twins are the first in the AL Central. Guardians, also known as Cleveland's baseball team, for those of you who don't know where they are. Cleveland's baseball team is hot on their heels. And you can watch that game, as I said, 8 p.m. Eastern. Then the more important game is the Mets game. The Mets will be playing the Angels. I should say the Mets will be beating the Angels at 9:30 Eastern on Friday.
Yeah, you're probably right.
TV. What's that?
Yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah, seriously. The Mets, though, have lost 4 of their last 7. And the question is, can the Angels do anything about this and capitalize on the Mets struggling right now? The answer is no. If that happens, I will be astonished, and maybe I'll need a pie in the face. Maybe I do need a pie in the face.
Oh, are you willing to bet a pie in the face for that one?
I'll bet a pie in the face. If the Angels beat the Mets this Friday, I will take a pie in the face.
Specifically on Friday, not any time over the weekend, just Friday night.
They have to win Friday. If they beat them on Friday for the Apple TV game of the week, then I will take a pie in the face.
Let it be written, so let it be done. The world knows
that is now. Tomorrow night. Okay, let's move to Saturday, because Fox still plays baseball on Saturdays. They're probably going to do it all season. What do you think?
They sure are. Used to so earlier this year it was on FS1, but they've moved it over to Fox, which I think is good. Baseball needs that. They shouldn't be put on FS1, especially on Saturday. But anyway, so we got on Saturday, Brig.
7 p.m. Eastern, based on your local listings, you can either watch the Dodgers at the Giants. Huge deal. Huge.
That's a big old fat matchup.
This is huge for so many reasons. I need to see if the Giants have what it takes, and I need to know how badly the Dodgers are going to continue to be whoever this new brand of the LA baseball they are. I don't understand.
I agree. And that's one thing. I feel like if the Giants lose this series, I'm not going to eliminate them from postseason contention necessarily, but they're out of the division if they can't beat the Dodgers. I know it's early. Like I said before, there's a long season, but you've got to be able to beat the top dog to be able to contend with them. And I feel like that if the Dodgers assert their dominance on the Giants this weekend, the division is out of the question for the Giants.
Yep. 100% agree. You can also watch, depending on where you are, the Cubs at the Yankees. Cubs are going to be at the Bronx, and that's going to be a very fun game to watch, a very interesting game to watch, because the Cubs are fun to watch most of the time. The Yankees are really fun to watch right now. What's that?
Yeah. Oh, I was saying the Cubs are fun. They've got a lot of young talent. The Yankees, like you said, the Yankees are really fun to watch. And that's the thing that I think is funny is over the last couple of years, I feel I find myself not hating the Yankees nearly as much as I used to. I do it kind of like as a bit on the show sometimes, but honestly, like I love watching Aaron Judge. DJ LeMahieu is so likable. Like
He is the best. He's
you
my favorite
almost
player
wish
on
he
the team
played
right
for a
now.
different team, right?
What's that?
I mean, I said DJ LeMahieu is so likable. You almost wish he played for a different team.
Ooh,
but
yeah, but he used to. And then he got an opportunity to go to the show.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. But guys, like I feel like Garrett Cole is still unlikable. Just I don't know how Yankees fans feel about him, but a lot of people don't like Garrett Cole, and that's justified.
We're glad he's here. I don't know how likable we.
That is one of those things. Is that you would rather have him on your team so you don't have to face him, but you don't necessarily care that he's there.
I don't know that I would say that, but I see what you're saying. I will affirm that I heard you.
I think that's kind of how Mariners fans feel about Robbie Ray these days.
Yeah, that makes sense.
He feels very indifferent about Seattle. Like he looks like he just doesn't want to be there. That he's just getting paid. He's not playing. He's not pitching like super well, but at the same time, it's like he would if he was pitching against you. So you're glad that you don't have to go against him.
Yeah, that's true.
There's that.
The Yankees have won 11 of their last 14 games going into today. As I said, they're currently, at least last time I checked, getting whooped by the Twins. I don't know if Brad, check on that really quick and tell me if I'm still right.
No, they're not. It's 7-7 in the top of the sixth.
Oh, it was like 6-2 or something earlier.
Yeah. The Yankees have a runner on first with nobody out. They could still win this game easily.
Let's wrap this up, Brad, so that I can go back to what? No, I'm just kidding.
Go back to watching the game.
All right, Sunday morning baseball. Wake up in baseball. The game this week will be A's at the Guardians, and that's on Peacock. So wake up in baseball is always on Peacock. That's 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. The A's continue to be who they are, and Cleveland's ball club have moved into second place, right ahead of the White Sox. They're at 500 today, going into today.
Right. So, and that might actually be an entertaining game to watch because currently those teams are tied at 4 in the top of the 8th. So it could at least be a competitive game. And the A's are weird because they do have some talent, but they also have a bunch of guys you've never heard of. And so, like, I don't know. They're really, really weird. Mostly it's their pitching who's really good, but it's their starting pitchers who are good. But, yeah. No, the A's are the A's. Go to watch the Guardians. The Guardians are making a run.
Yeah, they're pushing hard. They are way harder than I thought they would be, which is good for my fantasy team. We'll talk about that in a minute. ESPN Sunday night, you can catch a game. Mets at Angels. This will not be a pie in the face wager.
No pie in the face for Sunday night baseball, Brig?
What?
No pie in the face for Sunday night
baseball? No
pie
in the face for Sunday night baseball.
Right.
There's something different about Sunday night baseball, and if I'm not mistaken, that is the last game of the series, right?
Yeah, it's getaway days are weird. Like they're weird. Like I do my daily DraftKings or FanDuel where I build a parlay and I put a few cents on it just for fun, just to keep track of the games and stuff. I am always really hesitant to bet on getaway days because they're really, really weird, especially if you have one team won the first 2 or 3, this is going to be a 3-game series. So if the Mets had won the first 2 games of the series, I'd have a really hard time including the Angels in my parlay because you don't know what they're going to do. They could come out and they could beat the Mets 15-2. They could also get beat 15-2, or it could be a 3-2 game. You don't know. You never know what's going to happen on getaway days.
I agree. Yeah. Especially if it's a rubber match, right? Yeah, if it's a rubber match and it's split the series, then I'm not. I don't want anything to do with it.
Yep.
But like you said, if they don't win any of the games previous this weekend, this will be the one to watch, right?
That's what I was gonna say. If they don't win Friday, Saturday, this is the game to watch because they could very well come out and shock people. But we've been thinking that for a week and a half, 2 weeks now.
Yeah.
Right. Well, they can't lose another one. They can't come out with Nickelback as every single one of their walk-up songs and still lose, right? And make it 14, but then they did.
That's impossible. Nickelback backed you? You were backed by the nickel and you still lost? Unbelievable. I love that continues to be a joke. It is the best. When I was in the Army, people would sneak into other people's computers if they leave their ID card stuck in and logged in, and they would change the background image to something that had to do with Nickelback, and then walk away.
It's so funny.
It was awesome.
I love every little thing about that. That's awesome.
All right, so some other key matchups for this weekend to watch, specifically the Red Sox and the Mariners. Brad and I both agree that this is going to be a big deal because the Red Sox started winning after they whooped up on the Mariners in Boston.
It was so bad.
Yeah,
that was when
and
Trevor
that kind
Story
of
remembered
ignited
how to play,
them.
And man, oh yeah, he really did. They won 4 games. They won the getaway day on a walk-off, and you thought they were going to salvage and not get swept, but they sure got swept. And since then, they've won 15 of 20. Have won 7 in a row. Some of that helps. They played the Angels, so that helps a little bit, right? In fact, 3 of those have come against the Angels. They're going for the sweep tonight, Brig.
They are
against the Angels. So that game.
I have to see if Mike Farnes is still at the ball game tonight. I know he went to 2 previous games in this series, but
he better be.
Yeah, he flew out to Anaheim just for that. It's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Well, I mean, they probably did other touristy stuff too. Baseball's the most important thing. So you heard it here first.
Baseball is the most important thing you can do in Southern California.
Yes, it is. Yep. And what's that Yogi Berra quote? Love is the most important thing in the world. Baseball's pretty good too.
Yeah, that's the one.
I love it. Brad, do you have anything you want to add before we wrap it up here?
Well, so real quick with the Mariners playing the Red Sox. The Mariners are hot right now. They've kind of figured things out. They've won 4 series in a row. 2 of those have come against the Astros.
Yeah. Which is huge.
It is huge, especially in the division. It was, let's see, I believe it was Tuesday night. Benches cleared it was Monday night. As while we were recording, this happened. Yeah, benches cleared because Presley threw behind Eugenio Suarez, and Scott Service backs his guys. A lot of people are like, "Oh, Service doesn't get fired up. He doesn't back his guys." Like, no, Service backs his guys, and he's dropping MFs across the field. And then there's another coach for the Astros. I think it was the same guy who egged on Ramon Laureano last year or 2 years ago.
Oh yeah,
dropping MFs across the field. The bench is clear, and Service was ready to throw hands. By the way, so was Dylan Moore. Dylan Moore and Jesse Winker were the first ones out there, ready to throw hands with anybody who came up with them. And as a Mariners fan, I love to see this team is not afraid of the division bully that is the Astros. So awesome. It was awesome to see them take 2 out of 3. I mean, you're not going to win. You're usually not going to win that Verlander game. They won it in Seattle, but you're not going to beat him twice in a row. So Verlander took that one in Houston, but that's the first time the Mariners have won a series in Houston since 2018.
Whoa.
The black hole. Yeah, that's what I've been calling it, because they're never going to go there and win, but they did this week. So
that's amazing.
Very excited to see if they can avenge that series, that sweep against the Red Sox.
Yeah,
because that would be just fantastic, especially at home. That would be huge.
That would be huge.
Get back up in second place in the division.
Right.
Because you're not going to get first. You're not going to beat the Astros, but get second place, get in the wild card. I'll be happy.
Wild card, yeah. And then get some experience, lose, come back next year.
And then win it. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. They're going to win the World Series in 2023.
Yeah.
I've been saying it for a year.
You have been saying it for a whole year, maybe even longer, honestly.
Maybe longer. I think you're right.
Yeah, it might be closer to 14 or 15 months. But yeah. Anyway, baseball family, we're really glad you were able to join us tonight on this Thursday Night Live. What are we broadcasting on? Facebook, YouTube, and what? Twitch?
And Twitch, yep.
Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. So if you have a way that you prefer to catch us every Thursday night during the season, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, give or take a technical minute or two. And we appreciate you hanging in there with us there. Don't forget the big show comes out on Tuesdays, and then our Baseball Together network is hopping and popping. So check out what's going on around the league with our other correspondents, and their shows are terrific. So baseball family, thanks for joining us again, and we will catch you next week.